Today, I like to say something about Annie Besant, the great social and political leader of India. She was born and brought up in Great Britain, and she was very energetic, smart, and beautiful girl. She was married to a priest during her younger days. Two children were born to her. Both of them were daughters. She was married to a priest, and he had certain principles. He tried to impose it on her. But as far as Annie Besant is concerned, she had a broad outlook, an open mind. She did whatever she wished. She never heed to any other's request. That was the nature of Annie Besant. Anyhow, there was great dispute between the husband and wife. Husband, the daughters, and the whole family isolated her. And at last, she had to go out from the house. There was nobody to help her. She was in an isolated state. She became depressed and disappointed. But she was brave and cunning. She thought of doing good things in life. She planned to organize workers and laborers in the mines and factories. She went there and understood the difficulties of the laborers and workers working in the mines and factories. They had to work from dawn to dusk. Sometimes they were not paid properly. So she organized them. There was a labor party in England. She joined it and strongly worked for the welfare of the laborers. At last, she contested the election, the parliamentary elections. She won and she was elected as the member of parliament from London. She was the representative of the Labour Party. So this was the history of Annie Besant in England. After that, he came from Great Britain to India. How she came, we do not know. Anyhow, it was at the time of India's independence time, that is, people were struggling for independence. British people were ruling India at that time. Now, we know this Indian National Congress was formed with the members of Englishmen and Indians. First A.O. Hume as its founder, then W.C. Banerjee. Later, this Annie Besant also got the opportunity to become the President of Indian National Congress. And naturally, Mahatma Gandhi, he was working as a barrister outside India. He came and Mahatma Gandhi talked with Annie Besant. Annie Besant gave maximum inspiration and encouragement to Mahatma Gandhi. She said, persons like you should be here. Persons like Gandhi, they must lead the nation. They must lead the people. So Gandhiji understood it. And Annie Besant advised Gandhiji to read Bhagavad Gita also. Within a short period of time, Annie Besant learned Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita was the part of Annie Besant. Anyhow, she had a secular mind. She had secularism in her. And after some time, these Annie Besant and Gandhiji had differences of opinion about this non-cooperation movement, civil disobedience movement, abolition of foreign clothes. So there were a little bit of dispute among them, raising these questions. Anyhow, after that, Annie Besant joined the Theosophical Society. Theosophical Society was a purely spiritual organization. This was founded by Madame Blavatsky and Colonel Olcott. Annie Besant did whatever he can do for the poor and the needy. When she was working for the Labour Party, she stood for the labourers, for the growth of labourers. When she stood for Indian National Congress, when she was the President of Indian National Congress, she requested the British man to grant freedom, to give freedom to Indians, because she realized the Indians' attitude. India is a spiritual country. Indians are good people who always believed in non-violence and ahimsa. So it is better to transfer the power from the British to Indians in a democratic way. She strongly argued for it. And as I told you earlier, after the Indian National Congress, she joined the Theosophical Society, led by Madame Blavatsky and Colonel Olcott. This Theosophical Society, the idea of Theosophical Society is universal brotherhood. In Malayalam or Sanskrit, we call it Vasudhaiva Kudambaha, the whole world considered as one family. Everybody considered as brothers and sisters. That was the motto. So she joined the Theosophical Society, and being the president of Theosophical Society, she adopted Jiddu Krishnamurti. Jiddu Krishnamurti was a philosopher, a intellectual fellow, a great spiritual leader. He was born in a very poor family. He had so many brothers, and Annie Besant invited Jiddu Krishnamurti to come with her. She adopted him. But Ramamurti, the brother of Krishnamurti, also went with Krishnamurti. Krishnamurti was very efficient, and from the childhood days onwards, Annie Besant taught him yoga, meditation, and everything. Both theoretical and practical knowledge was given to him, and he became a very great person. At last he left the Theosophical, and Krishnamurti Foundation of India was started by him. That was another story relating to. When I speak of Annie Besant, I have to say the person is related to her also. That is why I am telling the name of Krishnamurti. Now, Scouts and Guides, a famous movement. In India, this was first started by Annie Besant. Actually, the Scouts and Guides movement was started by Baden-Powell, a foreigner. But in India, it was first introduced by Annie Besant. He laid the foundation stone in Kerala. He laid the foundation stone for boys, scouts and guides, and scouts and guides. Scouts for boys and guides for women, girls. It was first started at Model School, Trivandrum, the school where I studied. Now, she has done a lot of things for humanity, as I told you. I went to model school for attending a function. Years after my study, then the then principal of that school, while addressing the audience, he was saying that this hall, this assembly hall, is a blessed hall, because Annie Besant came here directly for starting boys, Scouts and Guides movement. So this hall had accepted the footprints of Annie Besant, and this is a blessed hall. This was the statement of the principal. Anyhow, I like to say yet another name, the name of Kurupasa. When I studied in the government model school, there was a teacher called Kurupasa. He was the teacher. He was not my teacher. He was not connected with me, but he had certain spiritual awakening. He was the teacher for guides, scouts and guides. The theory of Theosophical Society is universal brotherhood. So he tried to maintain this quality throughout his life. This Kuruput sir, he belonged to Kotte. He came to model school as a teacher. She was not married. He lived a life of sannyasa. He remained alone. He lived alone. At last he was given the post of the manager of PTA. And there was a boarding system run by the PTA in the government school. He was given the charge of that boarding also. What is the peculiarity of the Kurupasa? He loved everyone. He loved everyone. And whoever he see in the street, he used to talk with them. The nearest portion of Government Model High School is Taikyard and Tambalu. He go through the streets at night and day. So I remember a great thing, that is my father's day of death. When my father died, the dead body was laid in the hall room, and we were arranged to take the body in the early morning 7 o'clock. All the night, the body remained in the house. The Kurupu sir, he was passing through the streets of Tumbalu. It was midnight, 1 o'clock. I was sitting inside the room. There was a heavy downpour also. Calm and cool atmosphere. Everywhere it is silent. The doors of my house wide open. There was light also. He came inside and he bowed before the dead body. This was not a solitary instance for Kurupasad. He used to go to almost all houses. If it is known to him or not known to him, even if it is a stranger's house, the house that belongs to Taikyard and Tambanur area, the houses situated in Taikyard and Tambanur area, he go, even if it is a marriage ceremony, as an uninvited guest, he go. Not for taking anything in return, not for eating anything, but just to convey his message, his congratulations. Such an open-minded man. How he learned these things? He learned these things from Annie Besant, because he was the teacher of Scouts and Guides. So, once again, I pay great respect to Annie Besant, the freedom fighter or the leader of the social and political movement in India. Now I am ending my words. Namaste.